So, hello, dear Greg. How are you?
I'm very well, Maca. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. I want to say to everyone that I'm so honored and happy to interview my dear friend Greg Saville, who is the incredible leader that we have in ICA, the co-founder of ICA, also a person who is always in the front line of knowledge and research. I met and we have shared with Greg for so many years, and he has been so an incredible master in the CPTED field. Also, Greg has studies, doctoral studies in criminology and also masters in urban studies, both in Canada. So welcome, dear Greg. And today I want to ask you about a very trending topic that is artificial intelligence and the relation with CPTED. What can you say to us about that?
Well, a lot. I've spent the past 3 years reading, studying, talking to people, doing really a deep dive in research project into looking at what this means and what the implications are. About 20 years ago, Nick Bereza, a colleague of mine, a computer scientist, and I put together an early anti-terrorism a program to look at critical infrastructures. And it was the beginning of what had became AI later on, but it was my first kind of look at it. And I didn't know how big it would get, how fast it would get. But then when I did the keynote address at the ICA conference 3 years ago about artificial intelligence and AI, I began to see that it was making inroads that we had no concept of, and it was coming much faster than we thought. I mean, I understand that some people think AI is a distraction, but here's the reality. AI is already with us. It's already in our surveillance. It's in our zoning. It's in our service delivery. This discussion about smart cities, it's already there. So if CPTED ignores it, others will shape the world around us, not with us. So we need to act. And this is why we're doing this work on the ICA.
Yes, totally agree. I want to highlight that Greg is the leader of the committee, theoretical committee, and he will launch very soon a white paper on CPTED and IA. Can you explain us a bit about that white paper, Greg?
I better because you're my boss when it comes to this, and you're pressuring me to get it finished. So it's been underway for about a year. I just finished a series of discussions with Professor Emma Pearson, who's a artificial intelligence expert and ethics at Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, and we've talked to many people in the ICA and had feedback from all people, all kinds of people. What I've learned is a couple things. One of I learned is that when somebody says they're an expert in AI, you probably know they're not an expert. I mean, aside from the experts, the Jeffrey Hintons who won the Nobel Prize for this, Ilya Sutsinger, I can never get his name right, Hazabis, Benigio, people like that, the actual people who wrote the programming, who wrote it, they're the ones who seem to know the most. And we have to talk to them. That's why I've asked Dr. Emma Pearson to be part of this discussion. But even they don't know because I heard this described by Hinton recently. He said, we know what they've done. We're in the programs. He said, no, we're not. He says, we wrote the programs for evolution. And we gave that to the computers, and they've taken it to the natural state of evolution. We don't know how things will evolve, and so they don't know the answers to a lot of this stuff. So it's shocking how quickly it's evolving. It has huge implications for CPTED. The ICA has a massive role when it comes to ethical guidelines and things like that. So I think we need to be aware of it.
Greg, and what do you think, for example, if we learn how to apply IA for prevention strategies, but for example, criminals could also use it for criminal acts? It's
Well,
possible?
they already are. They already are. Yeah, that was one of the questions I was asked during the keynote 3 years ago from Sweden. Was could AI enable criminals? Well, criminals look to opportunities. I mean, the basis of CPTED, Jane Jacobs and Newman and Jeffrey was what created opportunity theory. One of the drivers for opportunity theory. And so if there's an opportunity, somebody will take advantage of it and use it. So we do need to be mindful of that. The flip side, of course, is that AI can also provide some protections, some guidelines for us. I think the thing we need to be more concerned about is where AI goes without us. I mean, AI is already in our sphere. It's already in surveillance. It's already in camera systems. It's already in predicting crime patterns, predicting police patrols. It's in facial recognition. It's already here. And so I think our goal is we do need to be mindful of how criminals use it. That's true. There'll be specialists, I'm sure, who just do that, criminal, AI fraud people. But I think as a group of prevention practitioners, CPTED preventioners, our goal is to say we have a role in devising some ethical guidelines. We
Mhm.
have a role to say what the lines are. That's where I think we need to direct our attentions.
Very good. And in that sense, ICA will play a very relevant role in that discussion.
Yeah, it will. I mean, I think it offers us a chance to do some things differently. If we can form a relationship with AI, there's the AI world is devised now into different categories. There's predictive AI, and there's large language model AI, and there's these different forms. Right now, we're preoccupied with the large language models, the chatbots, and that whole world. And what I've discovered in doing the white paper is I wrote half of the white paper with an AI chat with AI, and did a partnership. And then I wrote the preface just by myself to see what the difference was. And what I was surprised at, and this is what Dr. Pearson told me, was it's not just negative. The advantages and the positives to AI is phenomenal. I mean, it could do things that we can't imagine. Like it could solve cancer. Could it solve crime? I mean, could it? I don't know that it could, but I think that we could use it as a partner to help us prevent it much more effectively. I think it offers us the chance, if we have a set of trust, if we have a covenant with it, and it becomes a new powerful partner for us. I think it's one we can work alongside to make breakthroughs in crime prevention that we've never been able to achieve before. So, there's pros and cons to all technology.
Yes, totally agree. And I have another question. Probably it's a strange question, but you have been pushing forward for so many years the evolution of septet with
Yeah,
other colleagues. You push forward septet second generation. We are discussing and debating globally now septet third
yeah.
generation. Do you think, as leader of the evolution of septet, yeah, AI will help with the fourth generation of septet?
Yeah, I'm not. Look, that's now we're going from the practice and the operation of AI to the theory of AI and theory of septet. And I think I believe what we need to be mindful of in septet theory, and this is what I'm kind of trying to get our committee to talk about, is defining clearly what we mean by theory, because
Mhm.
scientific theory has certain parameters that we need to put around it. When CPTED began in the 60s and 70s, it began with the early phases of theory, which is observations of phenomena, creating some experiments to test it, looking at hypotheses. There was a natural evolution. When we did second generation CPTED 25 years ago, we did exactly the same. We looked at the field, we looked at the research, we said, here's what we've done. We've already always done some of this social stuff before. We've lost track. Let's reintroduce it. Third generation does exactly the same. Third generation was Matei Mahinyac, who worked with me on the paper, who sat back and said, look, there's these new research evolutions happening with neurological research on the brain, the impact of trauma to people. If we're in a community and we have good opportunity reduction and we're trying to build a sense of community, if you have members of the community who are harmed, who are somehow unable to control their impulses, who have issues with substance abuse, you can't really take it to the next level to build a livable community. That's why third generation septet evolved. And so there's all kinds of research behind it. If we
Mhm.
go to the next level and we say, is there a septet AI theory? I think we have to follow the same patterns. We have to say, first of all, what are the observations? Secondly, is it a theory of crime with AI? Or are we trying to say that we're going to use septet in the artificial intelligence world? I
Mhm.
don't know the answer to that. We haven't. I'm delighted to see an evolution because I love technology. I'm all about Star Trek, and AI could be the voice and the computer talking to us. But I think we have to be practical and realistic, and we have to be scientific about it. Right now, I don't see the connections between septet theory and AI. I don't see it right now, but who knows?
You are totally right. Evidence-based approach.
Yeah, has to be evidence-based approach, has to be based in some kind of a social science, because if we start with, this is what happens in CPTED right now, is we have people who are practitioners who are not certified, and organizations who put, academics on their boards that they're not, you can't find any research articles in CPTED in the literature with peer-reviewed articles by these academics. They're simply people who are planners and academics who are interested in CPTED. But that's very different from, if you look at the people on the ICA board, some of these people have had 25 years of
Mhm.
experience with research and writing, and we're pushing the field. We have to be careful about who is, what accreditation means.
I totally agree with you, and that leads to me to the last question: is why do you think it's so relevant, and being part and leader of the certification committee, why it's so relevant for the audience to really become an ICA active member? What are the benefits?
Because if you want to be a professional, if you want to be somebody who is a subject matter expert, somebody who truly helps your community with the latest theories, the latest and greatest theories, then you have to be at the edge of the field, and you have to define what the field is. The field isn't just a bunch of people getting together and saying we've had a 5-day class in CPTED, and we have surveys, and we're going to go out and start checking the boxes off in surveys. That's not CPTED. And this is what drives me crazy. Is people say, we had a CPTED expert come out here, and they changed the lighting, and they trimmed the hedges. But now with drug dealing, it's even gotten worse. And I said, that's because you created an offensible space where the drug dealers take advantage of a CPTED, because you don't understand the basic theory. Understanding certification and accreditation provides you the access to the latest, to the research, and it gives you access to the authors and the experts in the field who are already doing the work. That's where the field moves forward. If we don't do it that way, the field moves backwards. And we've already seen terrible examples when CPTED has been abused and used improperly and AI does the same thing. AI has all kinds of issues with false positives, identifying people in facial recognitions who are the wrong people, or identifying behaviors that causes human rights violations in some countries in the world. CPTED can do the same thing. There's an anti-CPTED movement in the United States and Canada that's growing around the world. And we need to do certification and accreditation to fight that, to make sure that
Mm.
we are high quality and they're professional. Does that make sense?
Totally. And because of that, also, we have the accepted ISO standard. We have a global standard that
Yeah.
also orients a process for quality of accepted interventions. So as you suggest, we invite all colleagues and attendees to this interview to be part of the ICA, to have a very critic approach to the methodology and to learn the basis of the theory, as you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we need to have a role as a guardrail to watch out for things. We need to convene the global audience in CPTED together in a coherent way. We need to identify what the ethical thresholds are, and we need to have a language for this. And I think you do this in professional organizations, and you push by pushing the science forward. So you have to have people who are committed to doing the research, committed to offering it up for peer review, which is why we have the CPTED journal now, to try to bring science back into the story.
So please visit the ICA webpage and visit the ICA journal. That's very good. It's always open for receiving articles or not, Greg?
Please, yes, please. We need articles. We need articles of people who are asking these critical questions. I would love if the next version of the next ICA CPTED journal was focused on artificial intelligence and CPTED. So I'm going to throw that gauntlet out now.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Greg. We know you are very busy all the time, but thank you for this opportunity to talk with you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Maka.
Bye-bye.
Bye.